Hey everybody, Robert Rosenfeld here in the Model 3 to talk about one of my favorite Tesla features, something that really convinced me to buy the car, something I use all the time, every single day, and also I have some thoughts on how this feature could improve and get better. I'm talking about the Tesla Sentry mode and Dashcam features, basically using the array of cameras in the car to record the vehicle from basically every angle, and you're able to do a lot with that footage. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the system, how it works, why it's so important, some things you didn't know about it, how to get it all set up, and of course, like I said, how it could be much improved with a couple of software updates. So first off, to clear up some confusion, what is Dashcam and Sentry mode? I see the terms kind of interchange sometimes, and I think there is some confusion about what exactly it is, and I totally understand why. As someone who was researching the car, I didn't really know what was what. So I guess to make things simple, the Tesla Dashcam system is the system that records your car from all different vantage points, and Sentry mode is kind of like the alarm portion, but on steroids. It's a simple car alarm, but also much more than that, using the cameras to capture every part of the car, pretty much every part. Essentially, the AutoPilot hardware is kind of working triple duty, working not only to do AutoPilot stuff, but also working as your dash cam and Sentry mode cameras. And there are 4 cameras. There is one that faces the direct front of the car, kind of what you see as you're driving. There is one that is the driver's side rear, going kind of back on the driver's side. There's also one on the passenger side rear, looking back, and then one on the back of the vehicle as well. So 4 total cameras. It's going to give you 4 different views. They're not perfect. This is not going to provide you a 360-degree perfect field of view, but it is a pretty good job of capturing about 95% of every vantage point. If someone was to come near your car, they were to hit your car, or something was to happen on the road, there's a really good chance that you're going to capture everything from the 4 available cameras. And while AutoPilot doesn't require any additional hardware to work because it's all kind of built into the car, Tesla Sentry mode and Dashcam do require something to make this work, and that's a drive. They need something to store this footage on. Sentry mode, the car alarm portion will work without anything, but you do need a drive if you want to kind of record those events. And then the Dashcam, of course, you can't really use a Dashcam without having something to record to. So you do need to use your own drive, and you need to get that all set up and working properly, which I'll get to, in order to really take advantage of the system, because without it, it's kind of useless. And to kind of talk about drives, I made this point in a previous video I made about how to kind of set up the system and how all that works. But I think it's kind of worth reiterating because it's so important. So the Tesla camera system can use really any kind of recordable media. You could use an SD card if you had the right adapter. You could use a USB flash drive. You could use something like an SSD or an external hard drive. But I would caution you by saying this. Typically, when you were to use this dash cam footage or the Sentry mode footage, it's in times that you really don't want to have to be using that footage. It's like emergency situations. I mean, sometimes we capture something cool with dash cam, but typically it's if someone was to hit you, someone was to key your car. These are more kind of emergency scenarios where you need to get the footage off of your car and over to an insurance agent or something like that. So I would want to make you very well aware that you should probably not cheap out on the recording media just because you don't want it to fail. You want to have a system in place that's going to give you the best shot of recovering this data if something was to happen, and you definitely want to make sure that media is reliable and not prone to failure, which is why I would typically recommend something like a solid-state drive just because of its hardware benefits. So solid-state drives have a couple of inherent advantages, and I'm not going to get too technical, but just so you kind of know the basics, they are faster to read and write to, they're also a little bit more durable, and they have no moving parts, so you are a lot less likely to lose data. And as your drive is going to sit in your vehicle and kind of rumble around and shake a bit and definitely, kind of get knocked around with some vibrations, the less moving parts, the better. Hard drives are great and typically cheaper, but the problem is that with enough vibration, you can start to lose data and that drive starts to go bad. You have a lot less likely of a chance of that happening with an SSD just because there are no moving parts. So I'd recommend an SSD, though I'm going to leave a link to a bunch of different options down below. Personally, I use a T5. This is another SSD from CalDigit. There are a number of these, a bunch of great ones on Amazon. I'll leave a link to all of those and my recommendations down below. Okay, so now that you know all about the drives, you might be wondering how you set this up to make it work in the car. And there's actually a couple of ways to do this. I will link to a video I did up here and down below about how to set it up on a computer, either PC or Mac. But things have since then gotten a lot easier, and you can actually format the drive and do all the necessary setup inside of the car itself in the Tesla computer system. So let me show you how to do that right now. All right, so to get your dash cam and Sentry mode all hooked up here, you need to plug a drive into the vehicle. You can plug into one of the ports down here. There's 2 ports. I'm not going to dig through all this, but there are 2 ports. You can just plug into one of those. And then once you do, you have to get the drive formatted. If you went through my tutorial on the computer and you set it up on that way, like I had with this drive right here, once you plug it in and it's in the correct format and file structure, you'll actually get a little dash cam icon right there that'll be present and ready to go if you have the drive pre-formatted, like something like I have with the drive I currently use. But if you plug a new drive in, you just have to get it all formatted and set up so it's ready to be seen by the system. And to do that, we're going to go into the car's computer and format it from there. So let's go ahead and go into the little car icon here. We're going to go to Safety and Security, and we're going to scroll down until we see the option to format the USB device. This is what we're going to want to do in order to get this drive all set up and ready to go. So we're going to go ahead and tap on that, and we're going to get kind of a warning. Are you sure you want to format this USB device? This is going to erase everything on the drive, and it's going to make it only work with this car in its particular format. You can read this on Windows and Mac computers. It is going to be in an exFAT format, but just so you're aware, everything on the drive is going to be wiped out. So make sure you're backed up and do all that beforehand. We're going to go ahead and click Format. And once we do, it's going to take just a second, and that was pretty instantaneous. We're good to go. So you know this worked, because if we go up to the corner here, you can see, there we go, the little dash cam icon. So that right there is the dash cam icon. That little red circle by it lets us know it's recording and ready to go. The camera's going to have a little bit of a tough time focusing, but you can see it right there. And if you see that icon, your drive is formatted correctly and you are ready to go. All right, and once you see that little icon there with the little red circle, that means the system is recording and you're good to go. So let's say I'm driving down the street, something was to happen, I want to save that on my dash cam. I'm just going to tap that icon, and if I could tap it correctly, you're going to hear a little bit of a chime and see the little disclosure there that says it's saving dash cam footage. And what that's going to do is put the footage you just captured into a separate part of the drive. So it's not going to be overridden. Because as the space on the drive fills up, it's going to overwrite old media. But that is going to be in its own folder, safe, secure, and will not be deleted until you were to manually delete it. So if you tap this icon when the car is in park, you got a couple of other different options here. So we have the option to either save the footage or launch the viewer, and we don't really need to save the footage because we've got basically an empty parking lot around us. But the other option here to launch the viewer is interesting. So Tesla has built in a real-time viewer into the system to give you full access of all of the different clips that the car has saved in both the Sentry mode system and the Dashcam system. So if you go here and see, it's a very simple, straightforward interface. You basically have the ability to cycle through the 4 different cameras. You got left, right, rear, front, and basically you're getting a live preview of what your car was able to capture, and you're able to go down here and also scrub through to see exactly what the car sees. So if you have a fast drive like an SSD, you're able to kind of go through here and scrub through, and it updates pretty much in real time automatically. And if we go back to some driving footage, let's say right here, we can go through the different cameras and get a good angle of exactly what the car sees, which is pretty cool. Another option you have here is if you click this little hamburger icon up here, ooh, switching to night mode, awesome. We get a couple of other different options. So we can see all the clips here, and then we can also break them down. So we can see all the clips, we can see just the Sentry mode clips, and we can also see just the dash cam clips. So if we go to Sentry mode here, these are all the times the car recorded a Sentry event. So if I was to click on, let's say this one here, we can see that the car was capturing from the front and it caught some people walking by, and it's going to give me an indication where that red dot is of what action it picked up and when it started recording. So if I tap on that red dot, it's going to show me, okay, that's what seemed to set the car off and set Sentry mode off. That's what it was able to pick up on. And if we go to different events, it's going to alert us by that little red indicator. So if we go here, again, it's going to have that red indicator. That's going to show us what it picked up on, and will show us who's looking at the car or what was happening. So that red indicator is a good way to tell what's going on and what caused the car to pick up a Sentry event. If you're curious why there's a Sentry notification, chances are if you look at where that red dot is, that'll show you what it picked up on. We can also go through here and filter just by dash cam. So these are all the times that I was driving and I hit the dash cam icon to save something, and I wanted to go back later. So again, if I go again, to that little red dot, X marks the spot, that's going to be right around where I hit save, and then I can go back and look at the different vantage points and see, okay, what did I save for, what happened, and stuff like that. So that is the Sentry Mode viewer built right into the car. Pretty cool that you can swap between the different vantage points. This is very, very cool. And then one more icon here to kind of show off is this one right up here, the little red, see the little red circle there with the lines around it, if the cameras can focus. There we go. That is the Sentry Mode icon. So in addition to the Dashcam icon, you can turn Sentry Mode on and off by toggling the menu option here by just tapping this icon. So if I tap it here, that means Sentry Mode is off. There's no red dot there. Tapping it with the red dot, that means Sentry Mode is on. So that means when I leave the car in park and I go off and do my thing, the car is recording, and anytime someone comes up or comes near it, the car will record that, and then it'll give me a little indicator, hey, Sentry Mode captured something, and I can come up here to the viewer, and I can go to Sentry Mode and see exactly what the car captured, and when and what it wants me to see. So Sentry Mode, tap on that, I can go to, whatever the event was, tap on it, and of course, again, you guys get the idea. You can go scrub through here and see exactly what set off the car to capture an event. So super cool. That is that, and that is how the viewer works and how Dashcam and Sentry Mode works inside the car. Okay, so now that you've seen the system and how everything works, there are a couple lingering questions that we kind of need to answer and some limitations that this system has. So it is, let me just say this, very full feature. There is a lot you can do, and I love Tesla's ingenuity in putting these cameras to work. I don't think other manufacturers would do this. I think it's really cool that Tesla is really allowing users to have not only all of these features, but also all this control over their data. But there are some limitations. So the viewer is a great way to see the footage that these cameras record in the vehicle itself, but getting it out to a computer or to something else is a little bit tough. You can just unplug the drive and take it to your computer and plug it in, which is what most people do. But if you want to view all of the clips kind of together, like stitched together, you are going to need some special software to do that. You can Google and find it around for PC and Mac. But basically, if you just were to go and look at the drive itself, you'll find that all the video clips are there in kind of different folders, but it's just very poorly labeled. Left camera, right camera, they're kind of all jumbled up. If you wanted to see everything kind of with one single view, like you probably would want to if you were going to send it to a police for a police report, or if you're going to send it to an insurance agent, you'd need some special software to do that. I wish there was a better way to have this footage somehow pre-stitched or stitched together somehow through some Tesla software, but right now that's just going to be up to the third-party developers to kind of do that for you. But I think one of the biggest limitations and something everyone wants to see fixed inside of the Tesla vehicles in this system is the ability to somehow get some kind of preview on what's going on. So for example, my car is parked right now in a park. If someone was to come up and key my car while I was out doing something else, or I was in the store, in the movie, something like that, I would come back to the car to find probably the damage, and then I'd come in to see a little Sentry Mode notification that shows me, hey, the car captured something, but I don't have a way to preview that. More importantly, if someone was to hit my car and the car alarm was to go off while it was, again, not in the car, if it was parked and I'm, upstairs in my apartment or something, I would have no way to see what was going on. What many people want is for Tesla to somehow push a preview image of sorts of what's going on. So if Sentry Mode was to capture something, the car would be able to kind of push you a live image to show you what exactly was happening. Think of like a security camera. If you have like a drop cam, or I guess it's an S cam, for example, right now, when a notification comes in that your camera saw something, it gives you a little preview, like a GIF of 3 seconds of exactly what that was. So you know, okay, that was nothing, I can disregard it, or hey, someone's trying to break into my house, I should probably open up the cameras. That's kind of the same thinking here. If Tesla was to give you even just a still image of what the camera saw, that would give owners a little more peace of mind, saying, okay, hey, that just was someone walking by, it's fine, or hey, someone just dinged my car door, and I need to go out there and figure out what's going on. Tesla has the capability to do this because these cars have a built-in LTE connection, and especially if you're someone like me paying the $10 a month for premium connectivity, that just seems like an obvious way to utilize that data. It could not be that much for the car to take a snapshot, make a 3-second GIF, and then just upload that as a preview and send that as a push notification. It is a little bit, maybe a drain on the battery, and maybe there's some computational stuff that goes into it that I'm not aware of. I'm no comp sci expert, but I'm sure this is highly capable to be done, and I know it would be something that many people would love to see Tesla do in some kind of future software update. Definitely seems like it's possible to do, you just can't do it right now. So what do you guys think of the Dashcam and Sentry mode features inside of the Tesla vehicles? I know for me, as someone who owns the car, I love it. I use it all the time. It gives me more peace of mind. And as a prospective buyer about a year and a half ago, it was something that really swayed me to the Tesla. You talk about all the safety features, you talk about all the technology, everything the car can do. This is just one more piece of that puzzle that really makes it much more capable and has such a unique feature set that you just don't see on other cars on the road. So what do you guys think about this feature set? Let me know. Leave them in the comments down below. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I am Robert Rosenfeld, and I will see you in the next one.